tonight. One man is dead, 4 are in police custody as the RNC investigates a homicide in St. John's.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Here and Now. We're a slightly shorter and later show during CBC's coverage of the Summer Olympics in Paris. Now let's get to your local news. We begin in St. John's. And that is where 1 man is dead, 4 have been arrested following a dramatic standoff at a home in the center of town today. All 4 remain in custody this evening after police found a man's body on the street. Here and Now's Malone Mullen has our top story.
People living on Gulf Avenue were ordered to shelter in place earlier today after police warned of a possible weapons threat on their doorsteps. The neighborhood knew little, but by noon it looked like this, a sea of flashing lights and police tape. The epicenter of all the chaos, a row house holding 4 suspects, orders from a megaphone demanding they come out. With rifles drawn, officers eventually coaxed the 4 occupants out the front door. Peacefully, one by one, police detained them. The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary said just hours later that 2 men and 2 women are now in custody. They're believed to be connected to the killing of a man found dead on the street outside.
The individuals had access to property on Gulf Avenue who were believed to be involved in the event, and the officers worked to contain that property, and a short time later did take 4 individuals in custody in connection with this investigation.
The RNC says the victims and suspect knew each other and that the alleged attack was a targeted one. Police are asking the public for any video they might have of the area around 10 this morning. But for now, they're staying tight-lipped on details, including whether they believe the man was killed with a weapon, and haven't yet disclosed the victim's identity. Police have yet to lay any charges. Malone Mullen, CBC News, St. John's.
An Ontario man is accused of more than a dozen counts of animal cruelty. The 52-year-old was arrested at a home in New Harbour near Whitburn Monday. Police were investigating a report about a gun being fired in the backyard of the property. When officers arrived, they found 19 deceased dogs, including a number of puppies, as well as 2 dogs that required care. The man is facing 19 charges of animal cruelty under the criminal code. Police also seized a firearm. That man has since been released from custody and is expected to reappear in court at a later date. The 2 surviving animals were taken to the SPCA. In other news, the finance minister held a news conference today to boast about the strength of the province's economy. But her political opponents say people are still struggling and they're questioning the timing of Cody's announcement. Here Now's Will Ping reports.
Newfoundland's economy, Newfoundland and Labrador's economy has done very, very well.
Siobhan Cody says the province's economy is strong and getting stronger. This morning, she pointed to a number of statistics, including how, compared to last year, the employment rate is up almost 4%, retail sales are up 5%, car sales are up almost 23%, and housing starts have more than doubled. But opposition leaders are questioning the timing of this announcement.
Must be a by-election on, I guess.
NDP leader Jim Dinn says he receives calls every day from people struggling to afford to live, and he isn't seeing that strong economy make a difference to them, at least not yet.
I'll know if it's working when people are no longer calling our office seeking help with finding housing, when they're no longer calling our office asking for help in getting the home care that their loved ones need, when they're no longer calling my office saying, you know what, we can't afford to bury our loved ones, we can't afford to buy the prescription.
NPC leader Tony Wakeham says he finds it hard to believe the economy is doing well when so many people are in need. He believes there's only one reason why Cody would choose today for her economic update.
Let's face it, there's a by-election called in Waterford Valley, and this is in direct relationship to that by-election.
When pressed on how she can call the economy good when so many are in need, Cody said investments are the way forward.
With a good economy, that helps us be able to have the monies available so that we can invest in helping those most vulnerable.
In regards to the timing of her update, Cody repeatedly described what time of year it is.
Well, it's time because it is midsummer. It is midsummer, and this is, we've just had our numbers coming out for the end of June. There is a by-election coming up, but I can tell you that this is about giving you an update to the people of the province. I've heard a lot of negativity about the economy in Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm here to tell you that it is strong, and we are doing very, very well.
William Ping, CBC News, St. John's.
And that by-election to replace longtime MHA Tom Osborne in Waterford Valley is about 3 weeks away. All three major parties now have candidates in place. Here and Now's Mark Quinn has a look at who's running and what's at stake.
Yeah, I think it's in the blood.
Tom Osborne campaigning in 1996. He retired in July after representing the Waterford Valley district for almost 3 decades. Osborne was first elected with the Progressive Conservatives, but also won the district as a Liberal.
This district has a history of voting for the member, the person, and I intend to be that person that's available there for them.
The current PC candidate has been an officer with both the RCMP and the RNC. Wilkins has also been a long-time volunteer in the district that includes the Shea Heights area.
I really have a desire to help this community, and I've been volunteering for the community of this district for over 20 years. So now I'm going to do it in a professional manner.
The NDP's candidate is a social worker. It's Nicole Boland's first time running for political office, but she has spoken publicly before at rallies like this one. Now she wants to represent the people of Waterford Valley inside the Confederation building.
If anyone who knows me or has worked with me, you know I'm like a dog with a bone, and I'm just so ready to bring that energy to this district.
The Liberal candidate probably has the greatest name recognition. Jamie Korab was part of the Guju team that won gold at the Olympics in 2006. He's also been a St. John City councillor since 2017, but now Korab says he's ready to work with Premier Andrew Furey as the new MHA for Waterford Valley.
I've got friends on both sides of the aisle. When I looked at the leadership and I looked at the whole package, it was a no-brainer, and I'm very proud. I'm proud to have that banner behind me. I'm proud to be part of this team.
The by-election will be held on Thursday, August 22nd. Polls in the district are scheduled to be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
A fire ban on the Avalon Peninsula has been lifted. That means people in St. John's, Mount Pearl, CBS, and Paradise can break out the charcoal barbecues and get cooking. Campfires are also allowed, so that means s'mores are back on the menu. The St. John's Regional Fire Department says the decision was made because of the low provincial fire hazard rating. The baggage handling system at the St. John's International Airport is back up and running. The airport authority had asked passengers to arrive early for flights today. That's due to issues with its baggage system, and those issues began last night. But by mid-afternoon, the mechanical issue had been resolved. The airport says it apologizes to passengers who experienced delays. The George Street Festival kicks off tomorrow night. Despite today's heat and rain, crews were flat out gearing up for the week-long party. Here and Now's Arlette Lazarenko was there.
The George Street Festival is about crowds, big crowds. Shenaniganuk has been in front of the festival crowd for over 20 years. They'll be here again this year for the 39th annual George Street Festival.
We got a bunch of shows before we play here this week yet, so we'll be traveling all over the place, but really look forward to George Street Festival. It's a fun night, the energy is good, it's always a good time. And even if you're not from Newfoundland and Labrador, that night you are. So wherever you're from, on the night when you come to see us on George Street, you'll be a Newfoundland and Labradorian.
Today is busy, on stage, on the street, and in bars, all to make sure everything is ready for tomorrow night when the first act goes on stage.
We say it's the biggest little street in North America, and during George Street Festival, it could never be more true. It's about amazing music, friends from all over the world coming here annually as they do, and it's celebrating music and art and culture, all in the heart of our downtown city of legends under the stars, like I mentioned. I mean, there's not a better attraction this time of year for all of us to come together, and we're all excited about that.
7 nights, thousands of people. So many of them come from a ways.
We come from Calgary, Alberta.
All right.
And
And what?
you guys know where Calgary is.
What brings you here?
We are here for his son's second wedding.
And the George Street Festival, are you planning on attending?
That's the first I heard of it, so yes.
Absolutely, yes.
We'll
Are
be
you?
here.
Do you love do you usually go to festivals, stuff like that?
I never met a pub I didn't like, let's put it that way.
And those pubs are stocking up, preparing for the waves of people to crush through the doors. This bartender says he can't wait.
It gets really busy, so I say maybe around 5 or 6, and it gets pretty full, and you're just slugging drinks all night, from 5 to 2 in the morning. It's like you're at a party, but you're the DD. So, but it's still fun, and the night goes quickly, and it's a good moneymaker, so.
The festival kicks off Thursday, and the party goes on until next Wednesday night. Arlette Lazarenko, CBC News, St. John's.
I was here last week.
Were there any weird smells here on Thursday?
It's different from the smell that we experienced today.
Still to come, is it bacteria or the birds? There's something smelly at a swimming spot on Signal Hill. We tag along with experts for a scientific study. Stay with us. More local news and weather on the way. And in the weather, we have more heat records to tell you about, some more temperature records in Bonavista. 30.6, the new record, 29.3, the old record that was set in 1956. Port aux Basques, a new record there as well. Gander smashing the old one by 2 degrees nearly, and Lassie, a new record, 29.3. All of these set yesterday, of course. Talking about the weather that is on the way, the heat is going to continue tonight. However, places through Central could see some thunder showers. Tomorrow, we'll see some sun and cloud across the province, but some places could also see some showers. Taking a look at the heat now, some of you are probably thinking, Heather, when is this heat going to go away? And unfortunately, it is going to stick with us into Thursday for the most part, for most of this area in red. But the Deer Lake area could see their heat warning and into tonight. But we do have another warning, and that is that severe thunderstorm watch through parts of central Newfoundland. And we just kind of spoke about some of that thunder for tonight, and lightning, of course, the danger there. Our highs today almost feels like Groundhog Day during the forecast. The highs aren't really changing a whole lot. It is a little bit cooler though today. 30 in Badger, 28 in Gander, Deer Lake. A couple of degrees cooler in St. John's today at 25, into the mid-20s for the west coast and into parts of the northern peninsula there as well. Teens along the coast in Labrador, but into the high 20s here in Labrador for Lab West and for Happy Valley Goose Bay as well. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, you can see some of those areas in red there, and that could be bringing some of our thunder and lightning that we were speaking about. Taking a look at the future tracker now, we do see a little precipitation moving across Labrador tonight and across the island as well. More clouds than we've been seeing the past couple of days as we go into midnight in the overnight. More cloud moving across island, and we've got a band of precipitation here that's going to work its way across as well into Friday, into the morning. Taking a look at our temperatures tonight now, still into the high teens, so it's going to be another warm night. We've got thunder, possibly lightning for many places as well this evening. You can see a few little lightning there for Lab West and in through Central there as well. We could see 5 to 25 millimeters, especially in the heaviest areas with those thunder showers as well for Central, and 2 to 4 for the West Coast. Taking a look at a provincial forecast for tomorrow, still quite warm into the interior of the island. Along the south coast, we'll get our temperatures into the low 20s for the west coast, into the mid 20s. And if we go on into Labrador as well, still into the mid 20s for the west and central. Cooler along the coast, 23 though in Mary's Harbour. Moving on to our future tracker and our look ahead for Friday into the overnight. Yes, Friday. Looks like we could see some more showers across the island there. Looking like not a bad day for Labrador. For the most part, we will see some sun and cloud. 11 in Nain to 20 there along the coast, and 20 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Temperatures still into the 20s for the island, though some showers. So this is a little bit cooler than what we have been seeing. Taking a look now at our 5-day forecast, the trend, a little precipitation throughout the weekend there. Temperatures still into the mid 20s for the rest of this week. Into the central and west, Friday, Saturday, looking good for you guys for central Newfoundland. A beautiful weekend ahead. Nice weekend for western Newfoundland, but a chance of showers leading you into Sunday and into Monday. For Labrador, looking like a nice weekend in the east and picking up some showers on Saturday and Monday for Lab West. Gonna leave you with this, a beautiful sunset overlooking Conception Bay South. Isn't that just stunning with the orange and the blue? This comes to us from Ray Brown. And if you've got photos you want to send to us, this is how you can reach us, nlphotos@cbc.ca. Welcome back to Here and Now. All that heat across the province is likely tempting some to take a dip. In St. John's, one of the more popular swim spots is George's Pond, but lately swimmers have been complaining. Here and Now's Daryl Roberts dives into the science behind that smell.
George's Pond is a beloved feature of Signal Hill in St. John's and a popular swimming spot for townies. But if you've been there over the past few weeks, you may have noticed an unpleasant smell. Kind of like broccoli or asparagus or cabbage past their prime. Whatever it smells like, it's weird, and swimmers are taking their concerns to social media. Most of them have the same two questions. What's causing that nasty smell? And is the pond safe to swim in?
There is a lot of things that can cause taste and odor or smell issues in freshwater, but algae could be one of the culprits, and most algae create compounds that cause odor issues. It just depends on the concentrations or the densities that they get to in the pond and if conditions are ripe for them to get to those levels. And then there's also just decomposition that can cause smells in ponds.
But to get an answer about what is, or at least is not, causing the smell, Hargan needs samples.
We have nets that we just toss out and we use to collect the phytoplankton or the algae and the zooplankton. Those are like the little water fleas that are swimming around in the pond. And we have a meter that is on a long cable that we can put down and look at how the oxygen changes going from the surface of the pond to deeper.
Then it's time to bring the samples back to the lab.
I mean, some people might be creeped out by what they see, but these guys are actually really great. They graze down a lot of the algae in ponds so that we don't, have too much algae. They're good fish food, so for those sticklebacks in George's Pond, they're good fish food. They're a good sign of a healthy ecosystem.
And they aren't responsible for that smell. Next, it's time to look at the algae.
So chrysophytes are kind of the common culprits for causing smell on lakes. This one, Uroglena, does have publications for smell. So most of them are more of a fishy smell or cause more of a fishy smell, which isn't what's been described, I guess, at George's Pond. So they do cause smell, but I don't know if it's the culprit here. So I think more likely that this broccoli smell is probably just a bit of decomp and sulfur being released, because often if you have decomposition, you have sulfur, and that's what creates what's more often described as a cabbage smell.
So it isn't a definitive answer. Hargan says that would require regular monitoring and testing. But with the information we have so far, should townies stop swimming in George's Pond?
This algae would not be a reason not to swim in the pond. I don't recommend drinking it, but it definitely would not cause any harm to your skin if you were swimming in the pond.
So if you do decide to swim in George's Pond, maybe bring a nose plug? Daryl Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Poland fourth, Jill Moffat and Jennifer Casson fifth. They were 12th in Tokyo at the last Olympics, and they will have an opportunity to beat that position in the B final, where the winner will get 7th.
A major letdown for a pair of Canadian rowers with a Newfoundland connection. Jenny Casson and Jill Moffat came 5th in the semifinals today, knocking them off the podium. Their coach is Jeremy Ivey from St. John's. Speaking with CBC after the race, Casson didn't hold back about her disappointment.
Yeah, a lot of anger. I'm very angry. It's the same feeling I had in Tokyo, so that's pretty upsetting. There were a lot of people who went out of their way to support us here, and we feel like we've let them down, so it's pretty hard. But for all of those of you who believed in us the whole time, thank you. It means more than that result, and I'm having a hard time right now trying not to scream.
Meanwhile, the Court of Arbitration for Sport has dismissed an appeal from the Canadian Olympic Committee and Canada Soccer, FIFA docked 6 points from the team after members of the coaching staff were caught using a drone to spy on opponents. Documents show suspended women's coach Bev Priestman was aware of the drone spying. FIFA has shared an exchange of emails between the coach and a performance analyst who registers an objection to, quote, spying on other teams. Email suggests the practice may have started under previous coach John Herdman. In a statement today, Canada Soccer expressed disappointment with the decision, saying it believes players should not be unfairly punished for the actions of others. Well, how's this for a morale boost? This evening, the Canadian women's soccer team pulled off a 1-0 win against Colombia to advance to the knockout round. There you have it. The team rallied against a 6-point penalty imposed by FIFA over that drone spying scandal, and they now have a shot at defending their Olympic gold from Tokyo. In the pool, Ilya Karun won bronze in the men's 200-meter butterfly, his first Olympic Games. Summer McIntosh will swim for another medal tomorrow in the women's 200-meter butterfly after finishing first in the semifinals today. In tennis, Felix Auger-Aliassime advanced to the quarterfinals, defeating the 4th seed Russian player. Well, that is our show for this evening. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us. We hope you can join us again tomorrow night. A reminder, Here and Now, a little later, a little shorter this week during CBC's coverage of those summer games in Paris. I'll be back with you tomorrow night.